Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, we are going to continue our conversation about finding zeros of polynomials. In the previous video, we used a graph of polynomial to locate the zeros. Today, in this video, we are going to solve the equation algebraically by using the method factoring. We plan to check the 4 examples, things a little bit more, so I'm going to separate these 4 examples as 2 videos. Please make sure you check them all so you can totally master this method. Let's check example 1. So we have a polynomial given like this, and the degree is 3. As you can see, the highest exponent is 3, and we need to find 0. Since it's looking for 0, so I'm going to just rewrite the equation of getting zeros here. So nothing fancy for the first step. Since we find 0, we just set up an equation like this. And so very common method is actually we always check what do they have in common, which we are going to look for the GCF. So GCF meaning greatest common factor. I'm going to check all the variables and all the numbers to see if there's anything common for me to take out. So if you look closely for these 3 terms here, you can see they both have x. But the coefficient, the first one is 1, so it's really nothing more for us to take out. So I'm going to take the greatest common factor as x. Some students might wonder, how do I know what kind of exponent I'm going to take out? One quick trick is you'll always look for the lowest exponent. So as you can see, x to the third, x to the second, there is actually invisible one here, x to the first power. So that means every single variable here has a factor x. So that's why I'm going to take x out of this. Next, you can use the reverse process of distributive property. You can ask yourself this question, x times what give you the next 3 terms? So you can use reverse property is x times x squared give you x to the third. Some students prefer consider as division, like x to the third divided by x is x to the second, and you do the same thing here so you can figure out what's put in the parentheses. It really doesn't matter which way you think, as long as you can think the way that makes you feel comfortable and feel confident to figure out what's next step, that would be great. So first we take the GCF out of this, and next I'm going to observe the next 3 terms here because x is nothing to do with it, but these 3 terms actually probably some student already recall something we did before is actually we can try the AM method for these 3 terms. So now I'm going to focus on these 3 terms here. Then I'm going to do the diamond puzzle, which is 2 numbers you multiply to get 16, and 2 numbers when you add them, you are going to get -10. So you can pause the video to do some mental math by yourself, and then you can resume the video to see if you get the right answer. So I figure probably you get the answer right now. So it's -8 times -2. They're both negative because when you multiply them, you get positive 16. But when you add them, it is exactly -10. So these are the 2 numbers we're going to use. So let's see, how do we continue to write down this? So what I'm going to do, I'm copy down x here, and then I'm going to use the AM method to break down the rest part. So now I have 3 terms, 1, 2, 3, and 3 parts multiplied to get 0, so 0 product property telling us each part can be 0. So this one can be 0, or x minus 2 can be 0, sorry for that, or x minus 8 can be 0, which means we're going to look at the 3 solutions, so x equal to 0, x equal to 2, or x equal to 8. So that will be all the 3 solutions here for this situation. And as you can see here, we use GCF as the starting part, and then we use AM method, like something old method. So as you can see, factoring polynomial is not really hard. It's just multiple steps and combining all the methods we had before to help us figure out the answer, right? So let's check next example. Next example, still we have 3 terms here, and this time the degree is higher, which is 2, or which is 4. So let's set up equation since we are finding the zeros. So let's rewrite this as zeros. And again, since we all have variables here, we are going to try to use GCF first. But when you use GCF again, you always want to check 2 things, variables and coefficients. So for your coefficients, there are 2, -12, and +10. They're all even numbers, so I know I can take 2 out of this. And the variables, as you can see here, as I mentioned, you can always look for the lowest exponent, which is they all have x, and the lowest is x to the second. So I'm going to take this out of this. So that means every single one can have a factor as x squared. Some students might wonder, why can't I just x to the third or fourth? Imagine when you take x to the third, x squared doesn't have x to the third as a factor. So x to the third cannot go into x to the second power. So that's why it's not working. After that, we are going to figure out what to put inside parentheses. Again, you can always try the reverse process of distributive property, or you can use, sorry for that, you can use each term to divide by 2x squared to figure out what's put in. So each one, as you can see, we just use the reverse one, 2x squared times x squared, you have that, and then minus 6x and plus 5. Again, you can always try to see if you can use dividing, like 2x to the fourth divided by 2x squared, which is x squared. Okay, so that would be the first term to do that, and you can resume this process here, and the second term is 6x, so you can use a similar way to find out the answer, okay? So really doesn't matter which way you want to try. Next, again, the first term we already take out, so nothing more for us to do. But rest three terms, I can try the AM method. So I'm going to take out the, let's write on side notes here, two numbers, let's do some mental math, to multiply to get 5, and then to add them to get -6. So the answer will be, yeah, -1 and -5. So now I'm going to copy, so I'm going to try down AM method here again. Then we just copy down whatever we had before, and then rest, I'm going to factor this as x minus 1, x minus 5. So now I have three terms, as we mentioned before. Do not forget zero product property telling us everything, oh, sorry for that, can be 0. So the first one, or second one, third. So we are actually looking for three solutions. Again, so that's it. That's how we find the final solution. Again, the only difference for here is we, instead of taking variables, besides taking variables, we also take the numbers. So there's a little bit difference here. So these two examples, as you can see, we combine the GCF and the AM method together to figure out the solution. I hope this video is helpful. In the next video, we are going to explore another two examples about factoring. See you soon, everyone.